everybody, and welcome back to Simian Jimmy's Treehouse. I am Simian Jimmy Jones, always by Eggy Eggman Rodriguez!
Hey, cheers, my friends.
And I'm trying to feign energy because, folks, for you it might have been a week, but for us it's been a measly single day. A day of debauchery unfolded on the 4th of 20th. I believe that's how the calendar saith. Mm-hmm. Boy, I think if yesterday I was at a health bar of approximately, 95, I was feeling alive and up and at 'em on the podcast, in tune with my surroundings, and really, I felt like I was part of the universe. Today, after, again, a day of debauchery, Eggy, and, copious amounts of filling my lungs with toxicity and filling my sinuses with a pound of cocaine, shooting heroin needles between my toes. I think I might be down to 23% health today, so I gotta feign the excitement for the podcast.
But what they don't want you to know is that everything that you took part of yesterday, it's actually natural medicine, and Pfizer doesn't want you to know about it.
Yes.
So really our health levels, we've been led to believe they're 23, but I'm thinking they're at least 32.
At least, yeah, slightly. Dr. Fauci doesn't want you to know that heroin needles between your toes is actually the cleanest, safest way to inject heroin.
Okay, which country's more powerful right now? If we look at China versus
India?
America, I'm just saying, acupuncture, I'm thinking it's real.
Is
Pressure
acupuncture,
points.
is that Chinese or Indian? Or is it some other racist third country that
I'm going with China on this one. I think I'm pretty sure that they, if we go back to whenever acupuncture was invented, whatever country it was China then. China probably says it's still China now. So I'm going to trust the experts, as I love to do.
Yeah, they know if you stick needles in any part of your body, it's healthy. It doesn't matter what is going into the vein. I think that's what the Chinese said. Feng Shui himself, he said it. Eggy, I don't know, what's your health bar at today?
Well, basically yesterday I was in a real tough situation. I was, as I said on Instagram, I was on that ish that makes cobras into kings. Which, I was on that straight venom. I was venomous yesterday. In fact, I was on some other stuff. I was really reptilian. I was about to be crowned with David Icke as the new ruler of the world.
This sounds very negative, Eggy. I thought you were anti the reptilian overlord. Why you saying yesterday you embraced their culture?
No, I was becoming reptilian until I took.
Is that because you watched the Margaret movie? Is that what happened?
It didn't help. I don't think it helps. I think I had the mental sickness. I think then became a little bit of a physical sickness. But thankfully, the beautiful Indo people of the South American continent, they came together and they started off the makings of one of the most successful soft drink brands in America today. I got to step in at a very early point in the process yesterday and get a little sample myself, and I tell you, I was feeling 110%. My heart, it felt like maybe at one point it was beating about 1,000 times per second.
What the hell did you drink? What are you talking about? Did I miss something?
Well, no, I drank a Monster Rehab wild berry tea, but that was that was at a later on point that it was not relevant to.
Oh, okay.
It was not relevant to what else was being ingested that isn't going to show up on a Department of Transportation drug test by the time this episode releases.
So what you're saying is
Either way.
32% health bar, pretty much.
All I'm saying is that what I watched is we watched Limitless. We watched that movie.
No, that was Lucy.
So that wasn't Limitless?
Female Limitless.
Okay.
Limitless is with Bradley Cooper. That was Lucy. We had Lucy on in the background while we were just hanging out.
Okay, that goes to show where America's at nowadays. Women, they only get 70% of the Limitless pill. They have to make their own movie.
We were watching it. Now, I don't want to talk shit about my cousin's friend, but our friend, or his friend, seemed to think that the movie Lucy was based in a true science that no human can use 100% of their brain to its full potential, and that maybe, just maybe, telekinesis, we can move things with our brain if only we could just use those synapses more efficiently. And I had to calmly explain to this guy that he's a big retard, and Eggy refused to back me up. I really felt alone.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that...
You didn't want to bully this poor retard he just met.
I don't know if I just knew the right angle because what he was saying, I did hear it on Natural News about 15 years ago.
Well, that was his source, I think. Which is something that he read on the internet.
He said, yeah, if you decalcify your pineal gland, you could theoretically, like, touch somebody else's head and read their mind.
Yes.
And I'm like, I probably saw that on Facebook before. I don't know. See, I wasn't able to do the full research myself.
He might have written the article that you read.
He might have. He
Cousin Joey's friend.
Yeah, he seemed like he had a lot to say, so I think he probably had a lot to type if he was literate. So, which he probably
he
was.
might not know how to spell. I mean, his best friend is Cousin Joey, so he made a few mistakes in life. Should we continue these questions from Patreon? We had a bunch more to go through.
Yes, we should make sure at least to address all Patreon questions, then we can tell another story or something at the end if...
Tell a story of how we might explode my house with our brand new pressure cooker because we don't know how to use it yet, and we have to cook some delicious goat meat.
I'm pretty sure we got it figured out. The important thing is that when we did the initial test, that it actually pressurized, because like I heard those Instant Pots, they can fail if they don't pressure. That's one of their defects that they might have, that it doesn't pressurize, and that was the last one on the shelf at Walmart. So if we didn't, we'd be screwed.
Yeah, we'd have to go to Target.
So thankfully, the good Lord is watching over us after we partook of his natural nature offerings yesterday.
Yeah, all that heroin. Yup wants to know, if you had to bet your life on Boogie or Wings winning the fight, who would you bet on? I've personally got my money on Wings, but that's just because I'm a diehard. I've never really liked Boogie. I've never watched his videos. I don't know him personally, of course, but... Wings, I feel like I do know on a personal level, just because I've watched hundreds of hours of him confessing his every unfiltered thought to the world. And I really do think he has what it takes. They're only fighting 3 one-minute rounds, Eggy, so nobody's going to actually win shit. It's probably going to be who actually landed the most hits. But what are you thinking?
Well, I'm really a real Wings lover, but I have met Boogie in real life, and he does know me personally, and there's a few things that I have said about Boogie in the past I didn't much care for, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm probably about 50-50 on the Wings and Boogie, how much of a public fan I've been of their content.
Really? I thought you were way higher on the Wings side. Because I never hear you talk about Boogie, I feel like.
Boogie was a really big part of my streams about 5 years ago.
Okay.
So
give me the hot scoop.
Well, I met Boogie at VidCon, and he knew who I was. So then I was like, okay, that's cool, whatever. He was still with his wife at that time. He was riding around in his motor scooter, just waiting to... It was the weekend where he ate, like, his last steak before he got the surgery or whatever. Which I guess, I don't know, I haven't kept on Boogie up. I haven't kept up on him enough to know just how much he's beaten his surgery. I think he beat his surgery like Wings did, but... anyways... And then we, one time I did a 24-hour gaming stream on Twitch, and we had an event called Storming Boogmandy, where we all rated his stream with the 100 people I had on my stream, and we basically just rated him with chat and TTS until he was forced to acknowledge. And he's like, there was a clip that I had for a while on my streams where he's like, I love Eggy. Eggy's my favorite egg.
Was he being sarcastic? Like he's really pissed?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, good.
We know how Boogie is. When he gets mad, he does.
I don't know how Boogie is, really.
Yeah, he's very passive aggressive.
Okay.
So anyway, then I made a song called "Boogie Me Down," which was based on a gay club song about booty cheeks, and it was
about having to fuck this big fat man.
No, it was written from the perspective of Boogie looking for hookers after he left his wife, which has been a recurring joke on my streams. By the way, we often bring up Boogie's love of adult film actresses. And
does he brag about his favorite porn star and stuff?
Yeah, he went on. He was on the H3 podcast, and he went on to, and he was just on straight pimp mode. He's like, oh yeah, I fly him in and I break him down with a big pile of fertilizer right on top of him and send him home. So I was like, and that's after he got those piano keys put in his mouth. So he was really flexing hard. He looks like his blood pressure's not so good. He really looks red all the time, like he's really struggling to.
He's on that Alex Jones diet.
But anyways, with that being said, I think that Boogie will have a little bit more. I think of a cardio advantage. I think he can get around. I think he's a little more mobile.
I've seen Wings on his stream. He's been shadowboxing in the background of Kelly talking a lot, man. He's jumping around, moving his fists. If I saw him do it for at least 3 minutes straight, and that's all he needs to do.
Yeah, but I mean, have you boxed before though?
I mean, would you want to fucking right now? You want to punch me? How hard can it be to just fucking swing, duck?
I'm just saying that.
Punch.
I'm just saying that it's kind of like. It's like the difference between, once upon a time when I was about 200 pounds lighter, I was in track and field, and it's kind of the difference between like being able to sprint and being able to like jump hurdles, I guess.
Yeah, I never could jump a hurdle.
It's like you have, when you're doing that training, it's just you're very much like you're going all one direction typically, versus when you put in the variables of a fight, it's kind of like the obstacles can sort of, can't necessarily, if you have all this to go this one way, you need to be able to like have 10% for this and then calculate, all right, we're going to bring 20% into this, boom. And I think that's where Boogie to me might excel. But I think that Wings does have a raw power advantage.
Yeah, I was going to say, who do you think is delivering the harder punch? Because even if Wings is not ducking and weaving and he's taking every Boogie punch, if Boogie has the strength of a baby,
okay, actually,
I could take 100 Boogie punches to the face.
That's a very good point. All right, now that you mentioned that does jog my noggin. I think I'm going to have to give Wings the advantage based on that now that you mention it.
And both Boogie and Wings have posted videos of them getting punched in the face to see, how much they can take it. Wings' wife was nailing him as hard as she could. I could, you could feel it in how hard, you could hear he's really getting nailed. Boogie's video, I don't know this guy. He could probably beat me up, but it was wimpy. He's barely even throwing it at Boogie. I think Wings can take a punch better and throw a punch better.
I will agree with that.
Okay, well, now that we've got the fat fight discussion out of the way, let's move on to... Who are you rooting for on Fish Tank, Eggy? I don't know any of the contestants right now. And really, by the time this podcast comes out, they might all be dead from a fire. They're going to burn down that whole house.
Well, I haven't really been keeping up on it too much myself either. I've heard this John guy, the one who said that he loves Jesus and Andrew Tate. I guess people.
What's the difference, Eggy? Am I right?
So true. I just, it sounds to me like he's, from what I've just been gleaming from commentary that I've been seeing posted, that he's very inauthentic. He basically just took a couple TikToks and decided that's who he was in life.
That's his personality now? Yeah. He's Kino Corner watching a Sigma movie?
Yeah, and people are putting any sort of scrutiny on below the most absolute surface level of his ideas and thoughts, and he doesn't have a phone, so he can't Google what he's supposed to believe.
Oh no, he has to just go off of what he knows from his brain. Yeah, he's fucked.
Yeah, so for a lot of people, I think when they enabled the text-to-speech, the first thing that came through was somebody insulting that guy.
Well, there you go.
I know people, they really like this autistic Asian woman who's really has severe autism and is shaking all day and doesn't talk to anybody or whatever. And I'll say this, I don't support women, but if she has what it takes to have all that going on and still deal with possibly some of the most socially, developmentally damaged people on this entire planet, I will give her that.
Yeah, good on her for surviving probably longer than I would and whatever's going on in that shit.
I'm gonna do one devil's advocate here though. Simmons or Simon or something.
Simian Jimmy?
They're calling him Soyman, so I think it's Simmons or something. He's this Asian guy who's just being a real autistic thorn in the side of all these other autistic people. From what I understand, and people really don't like him. But because I mistook him with a guy that I met at Doomerfest last year. It's not the same guy, but they look very similar. They're both Asian. They're Hispanic.
They all look alike?
Well, they're I think they're Filipino, Hispanic mix with really long hair, and they just kind of look similar. But anyway, just even though nobody likes that guy from what I glean either, I don't know if anybody's going to be likable in this, for one. And second, since I got him confused with somebody who I actually know, I'll give him an upvote off that. So for the men, it sounds like that guy, he might have what it takes. So Soyman and Josie, the really autistic Asian woman with the lip piercings.
So let them know Eggy Eggman has their back. I'm sure it would mean a lot to them. Any other thoughts on the Fish Tank that neither of us have watched?
Well, I know that from what I heard yesterday, the hosting seized up because of money issues. They're doing a temp stream on YouTube now off of one of the 8 cameras or whatever, just to keep it rolling. And somebody who I know, a man named Graf, who is one of the proprietors of one of the largest free speech Fediverse instances. He basically stepped forward to, say, hey, we can help you with this hosting. We have some free equipment. And, and I've been a user. When I got banned off Twitter back in February of 2021, I just went right over to the Fediverse and never went back on Twitter at all. Fediverse is definitely where it's at. It's got anything you could ever think of in your whole life. You can make your own website on the Fediverse, and you could join, you could follow 10,000 other websites. It's all decentralized. You're the one who runs your social media site that can connect with everybody else. So shout out to the Fediverse making big moves. It's definitely where it's at.
That's the plug for today. Go check out the Fediverse. You said that you donate money to that every month, right? So you really support that shit. Mm-hmm. I can't think of anything I support financially every month other than my cell phone bill. So the fact that you're actually contributing to something bigger than you, Eggy, well, I'm impressed.
I'm getting these wagey bucks, and there was something I got posted. There was a detractor, and he's like, all these guys say they want free speech, but then, Elon makes a couple funny tweets, and then they go and they're paying for a blue check mark, and meanwhile, real free speech alternatives out here are just left in the dust. I'm like, you know what? That's so true. I'm not one of these buck-broken Twitterers that has to be on Twitter all day and remaking an account every day and paying some random, literally the richest man in the world
to have a blue check mark.
Yeah, for a cosmetic skin. In my day, 15 years ago, when they came out with DLC and games, we said, no, thank you. Now you're saying, oh, please let me pay to have this PNG.
Oh, it's a privilege to pay for this, for this badge that proves I paid for it, and that's it. Yeah. The only thing more pathetic than somebody paying for the check mark is how on 420, when all the celebrities lost their check mark, they all felt the need to make a cute little tweet about it. I saw 50 celebrities pretending that they don't care by tweeting about it. So, I caught you. You clearly fucking cared. Every single one of you had to fucking tweet about it. Shut the fuck up! Slimy Goo says, would you ever consider making another short film in the vein of Monkey Jones Stops a School Shooting? Well, funny you mention it. Not necessarily in the vein of that film, because it was 20 minutes long, but this summer we will be entering a 48-hour film festival competition. Eggy and I, Biggs, my brother, maybe Kino and some other of our friends from the Is It Kino universe will be joining us. E-Rich, unfortunately, said he cannot make it, so it's too bad, but... we will be making a short film of some kind. It'll be probably about 5 minutes. It'll have to premiere for the contest on the big screen in a theater first. But then I'll put it here on YouTube, of course. So, yeah, we're making a short film, Eggy. Any thoughts on that coming up?
I'm so ready, because I know it's going to be classic immediately. I'm going to just pull out all the stops. I'm going all in. You know what? Money is no object, all right?
What if we required your character to shave his head on screen, in a dramatic moment like a Natalie Portman in that one movie?
Money is no object. Wow. If they need me to have long hair for any of my previous engagements that I've already signed up for, guess what? I could just turn this into a wig.
That's right. We'll keep it. Wow. That's real dedication. I would not ask you
to tell me my hair goes
I just shave that head.
People will tell me my hair goes kind of long. It's down to damn near my belly button at this point. So, if I just shaved this, kept it as a wig, it'd probably seem natural to the average human for at least another year.
But I think we can't cut it down in its prime. I have to see how far this thing goes before your hair just gives up. Let's see if we can get it down to your toes.
Hey, I'm using that Pantene Pro V, not a sponsor.
That's right.
I know the secret is women bathe every day. They're going out of control with it.
That's
for me,
the secret?
Hold on. This is the first part of my point. Unlike a natural man like me that would normally go about once a month. So when you buy that fancy woman soap, then it's got to be good because they use it so much, then they would know if it's not good. So that's how I only buy women's soap. So that way I always know, it is what it is. That 10-in-1 men's gallon of chemical solvent that you buy, I put that to the side and I say, let me buy that expensive thing that's this big because women use it and they got to know it's good.
Yeah, women are not known for wasting money or making poor decisions in any way. We should copy their financial decisions.
People say that I'm some kind of disrespecter of women when I follow their consumer choices so closely because they do makeup, they do. I ain't doing that, but when it comes to making sure that my locks are luscious and that nobody can touch this, I'm always checking the budgets. Anyway, cheers.
Eggy, we did say no fan question would go unanswered, but we did answer this one last week because Mochi wants to know, Eggy, as the Eggmeister, what would you say is the best way to make an omelet? Excuse me, guy who asked this question 2 days before we answered it, but we already did this one. Hello.
That's right. And my opinions have not changed.
That's right.
But a good hot sauce is something you should always have on hand. It could always elevate a dish.
What hot sauce would you recommend to throw into your omelet?
Well, I got put on by a man named the Wolf Pit. He's a culinary
He's a frugal
genius.
man.
And he goes by Texas Pete. That's not his name, but that's his hot sauce of choice. He goes for Texas Pete. And I never feel like there's too much of a difference between hot sauce. Like if I'm at a restaurant, just says hot sauce, and I'm hitting it with this unmarked bottle, it's gonna have that cayenne, it's gonna have that vinegar. That's about what I'm expecting. But Texas Pete did surprise me. There was just something about it that it was tastier to me. I know Frank's is kind of the go-to for a lot of people, but I don't know. It's just too distinctive almost. It's almost too unique that it's like I'm eating a Frank's omelet. I need something. Texas Pete is like, it's not too unique, but it's good for what it is.
It just gives you some heat without that specific flavor that reminds you of just something completely different.
Yeah, and there was one I had from a restaurant chain that I can't remember, unfortunately, but basically like sweet pepper sauce is not hot sauce, but if you're looking for a take, if you like the flavor of hot sauce and you're looking for like kind of a unique take on it, like a sweet chili or a sweet pepper sauce, you should check it out. They do have them around. Just shout out to India for being the +1 populated country and for making pepper sauce.
That's right. More people than any other country. Couldn't have happened to a more thriving, more thriving, beautiful culture. No, plenty of people to not shit in the street. Let's say that. Plenty of loos to be used.
That's right.
And the next question is from Nico Taito. If you have really long balls, how do you prevent them from slapping your bro's balls so it's not gay when fucking no homo? Now, Eggy, this is your area of expertise. A man with long balls who is trying to not have gay sex with his friend's butthole.
Well, I mean, basically, I don't know, because you're not going to want to restrict the movement of your balls because that's unhealthy. That's like, it's not natural. If they're long, they're long, I mean, it is what it is.
True. Charlie says, have you gotten to Cersei's POV and Feast for Crows? I finished reading those books like 3 haircuts ago, so for me that's like 9 months. Because I remember I finished reading one of those books while sitting at Sports Clips. So, yeah, I did read Cersei's POV. If so, what are your thoughts on her many intelligent decisions? They want to hear me rant about the Game of Thrones books, Eggy? Should I really do that right now?
We just talked about sweaty testicles, so I think that's a welcome topic change.
I would say, while Cersei's, 1,300 chapters in that book might have been entertaining and funny, ultimately, it is a bit of a crime that we've all had to wait an extra 17 years when important story elements could have been in that book instead of all the fluff of Cersei being a dumb bitch. Like, yeah, it's funny, but we could have got to some better stuff. We could have unwrapped the Myrini's knot a book ago. But no, we needed the Cersei book. The character who loves to fuck her brother is so interesting. Oh, I just want to fuck my brother. That's it. That's when I was a child. When I was 6, I saw a witch, Eggy, and the witch said, "Your son will be the king, and you'll be killed by your brother." And she's like, I spent the next 25 years of my life wondering what could these prophecies possibly mean? I'm gonna assume it means that your son's gonna become the king and then die like the prophecy said. So really, the depth of this character is that she heard a prophecy telling her exactly what was gonna happen, and then she was shocked like Pikachu face when it happened. We needed an entire book for this character, Eggy. And this is what everybody loves. Feast for Crows. Every feminist's favorite fucking book in the series. we finally get to see the perspective of the women of Westeros, Eggy. Oh, I bet you can't wait to dive right into book 4 now.
Well, if it has some good pointers for what women should know, which was like 1,000 years ago, how to, till the field and do all that trad stuff. But,
no, it's more about, it sucks getting raped. Oh, yeah, no shit. Really? When a bunch of soldiers rape and pillage, it's not a good thing? Glad we got a whole book to explore that idea.
So basically, we can expect that the directors of Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret are going to take the film adaptation on this one with a quirky, lighthearted, but educational perspective that women can relate to.
Well, Eggy, I don't know if you've heard about this, but they did actually adapt Game of Thrones into television, and it was a little controversial by the end.
So this book is about when that Jason Momoa was clapping those cheeks?
That was book 1, but yes. Yes.
I just know because on TV they would post the gif of the woman, I don't know, like the camera was in front of the chick.
And he's behind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
She was just getting turned to mashed potatoes.
That's like episode 2.
I actually, me and my ex-girlfriend watched like 4 seasons of Game of Thrones. But
so you've seen that.
I couldn't even tell you anything. I remember that one. I remember the guy who says like winter is coming, he dies, right? Not to be spoiled.
Jon Snow? Yeah. Well, Edward Stark. Well, they all fucking die and come back at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just remember not too much because this was like probably 7 years ago. But
yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about that. Soapy says, Eggy, do you keep it halal? Or are we keeping it halal later today, Eggy?
Well, I have certified halal goat. I don't know if lamb and red snapper are necessarily halal certified, but the goat is. So I will say yes, because maybe we could do the goat first just to make sure that we're keeping it halal. The Muslims can leave after the goat. We'll still get half of their ad revenue.
Well, no, I'm going to split up into different videos, so the Muslims can click on the ones that they want to watch.
Perfect, even better. There we go. So we will have a halal specific episode, yes. To watch the Sazone seasoning, will say explicitly non-halal. They torture camels to make it.
Here's the thing, Eggy. We haven't planned out everything yet, but for the goat video, I think the gimmick is we're going to cook these cubes of goat in every different which way possible to see which is the most delicious method of cooking goat.
Sure.
Could we not have one of the cubes be a non-halal? We break every rule of whatever their stupid religion is on this one particular piece to see if it's the most delicious one.
Do you have any bacon?
We can certainly get some. When we were buying oil, there was like a thing of bacon grease we could have bought for like $8.
Well, that's true.
Well, I can just go grab that and we'll grease up that fucking goat meat. So it's 80% bacon grease, 20% meat.
Bacon wrapped goat, that would be like the ultimate fucking haram halal combination.
And then is it more or less haram if we also fuck the goat? Because that might be part
you
of
saw
it.
the episode of Best Ever Food Review Show, right, with the goats?
Oh, when Sonny fucked the goat?
No, he went to like Uzbekistan, and the goats there are for some reason specifically bred to have giant asses.
Oh, yeah, that's right! Fuck. Yeah, that was weird.
So I'm going to guess that basically we do need to make a goat meat fleshlight for the extra bonus Patreon-only episode.
Yeah, for the measly few only. Wow, okay. Yeah, I guess look out for that one. Patreon.com/monkey. Major D wants to know, who's your favorite character from Boba 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 Bo? It's got to be Don Patch, Papa Rocks. He is the main character. He fought for that right, and he earned it. Eggy, do you have a favorite Boba Bo character?
Yeah, the main character with the mustache.
Boba 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 Bo?
Yeah.
It's not a mustache, it's nose hair.
Oh, true, yeah.
Yeah.
I got put onto that series back from an issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly about 21 years ago. There was a Boba 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 Bo PS2 game that was released only in Japan, and they did like a little, feature in the magazine for like in Japan only games, and they talked about it. So I ever since I had that issue and I saw that happen, that character's been etched in my mind, and nobody, even if all the other characters in the show are way better, just that developmental moment in my childhood when I saw this man and his incredible power, I'll never be able to forget it. So for that, he's got to be my number one.
Have you ever watched the anime in the English dub?
Nope, and I have not watched Space Dandy.
I haven't seen Space Dandy myself, but I would give a hearty recommendation to the English dub of Boba Bo. I think they nailed it, and I think it was very funny, and it still holds up. And I still recommend that to everybody out there. If you haven't watched Bobobo, it might be rough for about 10 episodes, but once it starts clicking, it's a fun ride to the end. Leaf wants to know, out of all the Is It Kino members, who's the best fighter / who'd win in a fight against all the others? Well, let's name our cast of characters, Eggy. We've got, of course, us, the Kino Corner, Florian Himsel, Erich McCoy, Weekend Warrior, sometimes even Low-Res Wonderbread and Hans get in there. Just in terms of who could I physically harm, easiest would be Florian. I think all of us could beat up Florian. He's kind of like what are those called? A monkfish, maybe? Like, just kind of...
He's a pacifist?
And I feel like if I punched him, it would just fall apart. Like, he's just done.
He's
just
like wet cereal?
Yeah, he's just like a slime. You know,
he's like paste?
We can squish him out pretty easy. And then
he's like when you rub your fingers together and a little bit of that dead skin comes on there by accident.
Yeah,
you can't wipe it on your pants.
That's Florian in a fight. In a physical brawl. And then I'm probably directly above him on the totem pole down at the bottom.
All I'm going to say is last time an Austrian got insulted about his fighting ability, a few things happened. So
I don't remember Hitler fighting himself. He has sent the fucking stronger dudes out on his behalf. I don't see him fucking brawling nobody. So
maybe that was an edited video I saw.
Oh shit! Yeah, you can have to send me that one. This is the greatest
maybe
story
that
never
was
told.
Generated. Yeah, yeah. that JPEG where Hitler was a bodybuilder.
Eggy, let me ask you this: do you think this is a good or bad idea for a YouTube video?
Okay.
And it's not really meant to be like an exposed video. I'm not trying to call out YouTube. I just want to point out that this exists on their platform. Okay. Again, no judgment, but I think the video would be called like the comment section YouTube ignores or something like that.
Okay.
Because if you look up the playlist for the soundtrack to the film The Greatest Story Never Told on YouTube, it's just a list of all these amazing songs that were used in the background of that movie.
Okay.
And read the comment section on any of those songs. It's worse than like any Storm Chaser or whatever fucking website, whatever that shit was called. Like, it's like a KKK Nazi rally times 100 in these fucking YouTube comment sections for random songs from like Band of Brothers and stuff. And the poor the uploader has no clue what the hell's going on or why these people are commenting this on his thing.
So you're gonna call it YouTube comment section the new beer hall?
It's a place where people can share ideas freely, really.
That's right. But we all support free speech around here, and to be fair, the Fediverse also strongly resembles the comment section of a beer hall.
Of a great song from this great movie.
Of the Band of Brothers, yeah.
I would say my recommendation: go listen to that soundtrack. Don't read the comments unless you might want to see some ideas you haven't seen presented before. But good songs. They might be a bunch of Nazis making some propaganda, but good soundtrack overall. We didn't finish our totem pole. We got Florian at the bottom, then me, probably then Weekend Warrior.
Yeah.
So between you, Kino, and Erich, who's the king of the hill?
Well, I think Kino. He's got a couple inches on me. I think he's got strong bones. I feel like if we had to throw down, I would want to give him the benefit of the doubt that you would beat me. But I feel like at the same time it would be probably close.
You've got a little more heft to you than Kino, right? He's probably more in the boogie range of he's not going to be throwing a hard punch at you, whereas even if he was strong, you can take a real hit. He's not going to ever hit you hard enough to hurt you, and I think he's not going to be able to take pain as well as another man, per se. So as soon as you knock him, I think he'll be, ow! Oh, I'm done, please, Eggy, not another one! I need to go direct wasted hours, too! I think you might knock his ass out. But that would bring you to Erich, and that's the real question. I think Erich might be the true king of the hill here.
Yeah, I've never met him, so I don't know.
He's about 6'4", and I'm not going to call him Wings of Redemption, but he's a big lad.
Okay.
He makes us look healthy, you could say. And that's nothing against Erich. But
I'm willing to concede. Yeah, I'm willing to. I'd still give my best shot, but I think when
it'd be a good fight. You versus E-Rich, I would pay for that boxing. It would be much more entertaining than Wings versus Boogie because you guys would have more stamina than 3 fucking minutes. Eggy, Greg Sanic wants to know, what's your favorite Emp Lemon video? And boy, howdy, there's so many to choose from.
That's true. This is gonna definitely be one I'm forgetting about, but I have gone back and rewatched the Wizard of Oz video probably about 10 to 15 times since that came out.
Remind me, because I've seen them all at least once, but remind me what that one was about specifically, other than, is it just about the movie?
It's basically about the extremely harsh conditions that were needed. Yeah, it was basic. It was like the pinnacle of film, and it sort of has an underlying message about it that there was so much suffering to make this movie that has stood the test of time as one of the grandest pieces of cinema ever exist.
The only Emp Lemon video I skipped was his one about the body horror movie, about the Thing, because I've not seen it yet, and I didn't want him to spoil the whole movie, so I still gotta watch that movie before I see his review. But otherwise, I'm gonna go with Frying Dory. What a classic.
Oh, that is true.
I've seen it so many times. I'm so glad it came out.
Yeah, the YTP era, that's what really got us all there in the first place, but, then his wonderful writing and observational skills to put together some of the most compelling documentaries of our time was what kept us.
Chuck Wad, Mumkey, how hard do you think it would be to get on Creator Clash 3? It would be physically impossible because it would require a desire to do so. And unless they straight out offered me 6 figures, I'm just not going to bother. I don't like the people who run that, and in fact, I might actually loathe them to a certain point. I would be disgusted to be in the same room. Have you ever seen that picture of the H3 couple and the fucking iDubbbz' wife's last name couple?
Yep.
Fuck, just like 4 disgusting freaks of humans, and that's coming from me. Like, I'm an objective 3 out of 10, and I was disgusted looking at a photo of these 4. I can't even call them humans without air quotes. So no, I would not want to be part of their event. I would rather backyard box Rusty Cage, and loser gets a trip to the lemonade stand. Okay, that's my idea of Creator Clash.
And that fight would certainly be much more entertaining than most of what was on either of these Creator Clash cards, to be honest.
Did you watch any of the latest
Creator Clash 2? Not really, no.
Yeah, I have not watched any footage of either of them, and fuck it, I don't fucking care about boxing, or really any of those people. Ballfrog Creator, with a picture of Florian, so it could be anybody.
Sure.
Would you rather go to prison for 25 years or die right now? This is very easy for me, Eggy, so I'll let you go first.
Well, I'll definitely go to prison for 25 years.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of reasons to want to die, but, I've never been to prison, and I'm sure 25 years of it would really teach me a lot of fantastic life skills. I could probably get, masters in being a lawyer or something while I'm in there.
My question is, do I still get access to the new chapters of One Piece while in prison? Because I'm still choosing prison either way, because I have to see how One Piece ends, Eggy, before I die. The question is, do I get to continue reading it live, or do I have to wait 25 years and then binge the final, 200 chapters?
I think you should be able to get it mailed to you or something, or get it ordered through the prison library.
Yeah, surely they get internet access and shit. It couldn't not be that hard. I'd only need 10 minutes a week. So, yeah, I'll stay alive for 25 years in prison, even solitary confinement. As long as I can fucking read that piece, I'll be happy. Agnes wants to know, is Steven Universe truly better than Tom and Jerry? Did you hear about this controversy, Eggy?
No, I did not, but
Florian Himsel went viral on Twitter because he dared to call out somebody with more followers than him, and he wanted to let them know his opinion that Tom and Jerry is dog shit, and Steven Universe is 100 times better in every way. This tweet got so many quote retweets, people making fun of Florian, it was truly a dog pile of bullying against my dear friend that I did not partake in because I don't care about either of these cartoons in any way, really. But I did laugh at him quite a bit, and it's been a subject of a lot of fun in the Discord. So, Eggy, where do you lean in on Florian's great take here?
Well, I can see where he's coming from. I think probably in terms of advancement in different techniques and a different technology. Oops. Different me rubbing my foot against the microphone stand.
This show doesn't sound good anyway.
I think that Steven Universe is more advanced than Tom and Jerry on multiple fronts, but at the same time, for a few reasons, people involved with creating Steven Universe, I found them to be kind of maybe unsavory people. The fan base, exceptionally more so unpleasant to have ever. Anytime I was on Twitter and I ran into like a Steven Universe enjoyer, they always just seem to be very unwell people.
Well, what about the Tom and Jerry fans that are running rampant on Twitter, though? You never saw them annoying people to death?
Well, you know, Tom and Jerry's got that good old Looney Tunes slapstick humor. It's got, you know, Tom, he sticks the shotgun into the wall, and it points back out, and then he plugs his ear, and, he's got all kinds of funny stuff going on.
Jerry eats a piece, like a block of cheese that's bigger than him, and then his whole body's in the shape of the cheese. Is there a single moment in all of Steven Universe that even compares comedically at all to Jerry becoming the shape of cheese? There's nothing. It's a bunch of lesbian rocks.
It's true.
That's the show. You're telling me, Florian, listen up. The slapstick of Tom and Jerry chasing each other with fucking mallets and bats and dropping anvils because it's just a household object in this world. What does Steven Universe have? Teaching lessons about compassion and fucking love and friendship and lesbian sex? Pearl's a bitch! Objectively, Pearl's a fucking bitch! At least Tom and Jerry, sometimes they team up against the dog. You know? That's a true story of friendship, Eggy. If Tom and Jerry can team up, anything's possible. Steven Universe is nothing without the lessons and the fabric and the foundation put in place all those years ago.
Very true. And I would say that I feel that in Steven Universe, everything's very sugar-coated and very, nowadays it's like the youth needs this 10 layers of warnings and, advisories that an emotion is about to occur. Versus, Tom, he's walking up with a shotgun, he's walking up with an axe, he's ready to kill, and then he just has to face like a stark, like, boom, in his face. Oh, wait a minute, there's 2 dogs down the street versus my 1 dog. I know I can get this 1 dog, but let's go ahead and team up and let's get those other dogs out of here. Run them right out of the country, possibly slaughter, possibly total execution and hiding of the bodies. But they were ready. There was real life coming to your face. You had to just get hit by that train, and you had to know what to do. They didn't have all these precursors and precautions and all these little baby steps of Steven Universe for your emotionally damaged audience of women that cut their hair really short and wear too much makeup.
If you identify with Amethyst, lose some fucking weight.
It is what it is.
If you identify with Pearl, you're probably fucking hot. But I'll give her that one. Toot responds, is Steven Universe truly better than Tom and Jerry? Toot says no. So now we know Toot's perspective. The GQ. My roommate has... Oh, this is from Sane. My roommate has a small music studio in our home. He has been begging me to learn an instrument to better myself, but I don't want to cause... That would take too much effort, and I won't immediately be good at it. You call it monkey, based, or cringe. The guitar question. Eggy, can we answer once and for all the GQ?
Well, he says he doesn't want to learn at it because it would take too much effort and he will not be immediately good at it. Well, that makes it sound to me like you should be giving it a try because you have this sort of nervous inclination that it's going to be so difficult and that you won't be good. But anything in life, you have to start somewhere. So now it might possibly take too much of your time compared to what you have available for work and school. That's understandable. So maybe you'll give it a try and it's going to take more than what you have to offer right now. But you won't know that if you don't give it a try. So I'm all about trying new things. I say, you gotta pick up those strings, be a gothic bad boy rock star that you're meant to be.
Eggy, speaking of strings, man, my homeboy Pinocchio once said, there ain't no strings on me. It sounds like Your roommate thinks you're a puppet. He can marionette you to join his fucking band. He's probably got some dumbass scheme. Oh yeah, I'm gonna start a fucking band with my roommate so I can get laid with chicks. I'll be the lead singer. I just need some dumbass guitarist. I literally don't have any fucking friends with skill. I guess I'll beg the only guy I know to learn an entire fucking instrument just so I can try to be in a band. No. Fuck that. If he wants to be in a band, he can put out flyers in the paper or something, go to a music store, take a fucking lesson himself. You should have a limited time on this earth, Eggy. We all do. You should only dedicate your life and your time and your very limited free time. You probably have to go to school and go to a job and all this dumb shit. Why would you waste your very limited free time doing something you're not absolutely passionate about? He clearly does not want to do it. He doesn't want to play guitar. Do we not have enough shitty guitar players in this world already, Eggy? We really want to beg one more into existence?
Well,
I say no.
All I'm saying is that we can't say for sure any of that if you don't give it a try.
Well, I say give up before you begin. Go watch fucking Bo. It's a better use of your time. You will not regret that. You will get blisters on your fingers from a guitar and it will hurt. And fuck that. Okay, so we gave you both perspectives. Now it's up to you. Who do you agree with? D'Amelio wants to know, do we like him yet?
He's from the Measly Few, right? Or was he from Garbage Mice? I think he's from one of those two.
I have no clue who this is. It just says DeMello Marquis.
Well, shout out to the Garbage Mice. They're doing what they do.
Are they still posting anything?
I saw them somewhere. I don't know if they've been making content. I saw their account comment on something.
Yeah, I don't think any of the Mumkey spin-off groups have been doing anything lately. But maybe I'm wrong. Major D says, thoughts on the Indiana Jones movies, especially Crystal Skull and the upcoming one? Eggy, I've got an embarrassing take on this one.
Okay.
So I don't know if I should share that before.
Yeah, I think you should share it immediately.
So, as a kid, I went to the movies a lot because my dad just took us all the time, so I just saw whatever my dad took me to. And it's not like you Zoomers today who have every movie ever made at your fingertips and you can see anything at any time immediately. I lead up with those 2 points because my fun fact is I've only seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I have not seen the original films because they were never shown to me. And my dad just took me to see, the new one when it came out. So I've only seen the bad one. What about you, Eggy?
I've only seen the Temple of Doom.
So you've seen one of the good ones?
I have.
Okay. Was it good?
As I recall, I've enjoyed it quite a bit, yes.
Is that the one with Short Round?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
That was the one, and I did watch it as a probably 11-year-old, so it's been a few years.
About 20 years.
But I was like, I remember it fondly. I remember it as being, really checked all the boxes. If I came back at it now with a more enhanced cinematic appreciation perspective, I think I could probably get more out of the film, but at the same time, I was definitely the target audience at that time, basically young, almost teenage boy, action, adventure, mystery.
Short round.
So a lot going on there that I think was it landed, it aimed for a certain thing and it hit those marks. That's what I could say as being a young man of that time.
I know a few things about that movie, I think. Is there not a scene where a man gets his heart ripped out of his chest in that movie? Maybe you don't remember. And I think it also ends with somebody's face melting off.
Yeah, that I do remember. That's classic right there.
Well, if the heart thing is correct, I'm saying maybe we could recreate that scene later today because we do have some hearts to play with.
See, for me, it's the Mortal Kombat fatality of the heart ripping. I guess Johnny Cage.
Yeah, we could do some of that today. That'd be good. Whose heart's getting ripped out? You'll just have to wait and see. Random Candor wants to know, do you think either of your lives would be better if you were simply gay? Well, Eggy, we've both seen the documentary called Bros. And let me just say, despite public perception, I'm not actually that much of a sexual deviant, Eggy. I don't have the sexual energy to have a 4-man gay orgy every single night of the week. And according to Bros, that's the gay lifestyle in a nutshell. There's not enough cum in my balls to satisfy all these gay men, Eggy, let alone all the monkeypox and HIV and fucking herpes that I have to put up with. So, frankly, no, my life would not be simpler as a gay man. What about you, Eggy?
I would have to agree. Being a undesirable heterosexual man is a much simpler life.
So much better.
It's very one track. Basically nothing ever changes or happens. You just basically live every single day. You don't have to worry about which bathhouse you're going to and which 10 medications you forgot to inject this morning. And you gotta keep up on that fashion. You gotta buy all these new rugs and whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know whatever they buy in New York. I don't know. You gotta stay up on the what's the word? Metrosexual. You gotta look like American Idol all day. You gotta look like Ryan Seacrest, and you gotta do all this.
You've got blowjob appointments, so I gotta suck Frank's dick at 12 o'clock. I gotta suck Louie's dick. I gotta go to this club and get peed in my mouth. Gotta go lay next to a man who I met on Grindr, and he's gonna jerk off onto my stomach and then give me money and I'll leave. Life as a gay man sounds rough, and I don't just mean getting stuff jammed up your butthole. I feel bad for them out there, shout out to the gays. You guys take one for the team, and you take two for the team, and it sounds like you take a lot for a lot of teams. The whole team gets in.
Yeah, it's got to be, that might be why life expectancy is not always so great, but, the brightest candle burns the quickest, as they say, and America's full of a lot of bright candles. So.
Lots of sticks just getting burned up, you could say, a whole bundle. If you were a woman, Bionicle wants to know, what would be the first thing you'd do? So not like what would you do all day, what would your schedule be? The very first thing. Oh my god, I got the titties. What are you doing immediately, Eggy?
Grifting.
OnlyFans immediately subscribe.
Listen, I only have suspected schizophrenia, so with all of my political opinions and being a woman, I could still be the same body fat percentage, the same weight or whatever and everything, and it would probably be rocking and rolling. And it wouldn't be wrong because I'd be saying something that makes sense, but I would just only be benefiting from it specifically for being a woman. Therefore, all clean conscience. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Eggy, I would have to come. Like, if I need to know.
Oh, well, women can't do that.
No, I need to know who it's better for, Eggy. I'm sure I could finagle some way if I got a bunch of whatever toys or whatever those women are doing down there. I'll figure it out. I'll do some scientific experiments. I gotta feel it. I gotta know if I got gypped being born a man. Perhaps, Eggy, the greatest heights of our pleasure don't even come close to what those women feel as soon as my 3 inches stretch them open.
Well, there was a doctor on Twitter, and he, I believe, eventually disavowed this statement, but he once said that women cannot orgasm. The only joy they feel is from worshiping Satan. Something along those lines.
Wow. And it's stuck with you ever since, clearly.
Yeah.
Those words have been etched in your brain to repeat on the
air. Because there was a whole debacle on Twitter for probably, maybe, I don't know, between 2017 and 2018, maybe a year, maybe longer, where it was a very heated point of discussion that women actually cannot perceive any sexual satisfaction. Like, it's all just made up. They make it up.
That sounds like a prank on men who have never satisfied a woman so that they'd hear it and start repeating it, Eggy. Because, I mean, maybe I've been gaslighted, but I feel like it's not true, man. That can't be fucking true.
It's one of those things, where I think that if we ever possibly could know, that would immediately bring around, the apocalypse. The world would just, break apart and whatever, so it's one of those.
That's why God does not allow any true transgender, because if somebody could truly feel the orgasm on both sides of the fence, it would be the end of the world as we know it.
Yeah.
That's why you have to just do mutilations to even pretend to have the same sensation. Anyway, we got 2 more, Eggy. Okay. And we're coming up right on an hour, so we did it. We nailed this one.
Perfect.
Notorious Pig. Actually, there's 3 questions. Notorious Pig wants to know, Eggy, why weren't you interviewed for That Feel When No GF movie?
Well, basically, I probably could have been, but I don't think so. I really only started using Twitter at the end of 2017, and I believe that filming for it had already been ongoing for maybe the previous year before that. So, when I started on Twitter, I had maybe 100 followers or whatever. And I did see exponential growth as time went by, and I got, I became somebody on there that was recognized But I didn't have enough of since the movie was so based around a particular group of people on Twitter, that was really the defining characteristic of why certain people were chosen for the film. And so before the film was totally finished, I kind of developed a reputation on Twitter at the time, which was why then, the director reached out to me. They, had little few seconds here and there of clips of me in the movie. And then while I was invited, 2021, I believe, I was invited out to Texas to record the commentary for the Blu-ray release, because at that point, many of the people involved with the film had soured on the whole situation and sort of didn't want anything more to do with it. So I was kind of on the list down, like, well, hey, Eggy was in it, so hey, Eggy, you want to do the commentary? So boom, I go and do like 80% of the commentary for the Blu-ray release.
For a movie really that you probably also had not seen?
Well, no, they actually sent me numerous screenings of it before it was ever released, and I just never watched it. The first time I ever watched the movie, it was me, Dick Masterson, Ethan Ralph, and
that's a real who's who hanging out.
Yeah, like Gibble, or who's that guy from the Killstream?
Kimball?
Gibble, or
I don't know these people.
I should know. I talked to him back at that time more, or Bibble or whatever his name is. But anyway, yeah, it was like 4 or 5 of us doing a live watching, and Dick Masterson was like, "These guys are all losers. These guys, man, I would never want to be one of these losers."
Wow. So like real rich commentary was flowing forth at that point.
Yeah. But I did get I got to do the commentary, and then we did a very illegal and not at all sanctioned broadcasting of the I hooked a Blu-ray player up to my computer, got a copy of the Blu-ray that the company actually sent me after they distributed it, and I broadcast it on Odyssey to everybody that was watching it, so they got to experience my rich commentary. And there was a couple of times during the commentary where I'm watching the movie again, and then I have a live reaction, and I say like a sentence, and just as I'm saying it, I'm also saying it on the Blu-ray commentary, and I'm not even knowing, because I didn't go back and
your brain just like hit that exact same trigger the exact same way, and you felt compelled to say it. Yeah, is that called serendipity? I don't know, but I love it when stuff like that happens.
But anyways, to answer the guy's question, it was just a very Twitter-based movie, and I wasn't really on Twitter yet at the time when it was the main filming period, the main period of like 2016, 2017, where it was really coming together. So they kind of shoehorned a little bit of me in afterwards. So yeah.
Well, his other question was, why don't you live in New York City and hang out at Dimes Square? I assume he means Times Square?
Well, New York City to me is garbage. It's trash. No, and it's nothing
not
specific.
Bad to visit, though. Have you visited?
Yeah, I went and saw
it's not bad to visit.
Yeah. So I did have it was pleasant enough to walk around, but
I wouldn't want to live there. Fuck that. No, it's a tourist destination only.
My thoughts on any city like over 100,000 people is that I don't want to live there.
That's fair.
That's about how I feel. Like that's kind of the cutoff for me, where it just gets to be too much. That's how I feel after I've traveled around the country at this point. There's some places that I've been to where there's like it's a population of like 1,000 people. If they got a grocery store and a gas station and like a liquor store, or whatever, really, it's gonna be good. I like Whole Foods. I like some places like that where they have such a range and such a thing, but these cities, they're just really corrupt and they're really run down, and a lot of them they stink, and just not really a big fan of cities. There's positives and negatives, but for me, there's more negatives to living in a city than positives, so I prefer to live in a smaller area.
And as for me, New York just seems like a big waste of money. Like you can, what can you do in New York that makes the $3,500 rent payment worth it that you can't do anywhere else in the country? And again, I'm sure for Baron von Brunk, it's a great deal or whatever, even though it sounds like it was not a great deal during COVID. But boy, there was not a funnier city of pack rats than New York City during COVID. These poor people forcing themselves to be trapped in 100 square foot boxes, unable to go outside at all during this fucking pandemic, and paying $4,000 a month for it. Like, just, you reap what you sow so fucking hard. Final question, Eggy.
Well, I just want to say one thing, just to the very last amendment to that. Anything that happens in a city, you could just go there. You know what I mean? Like, because nothing happens those other 6 out of 7 days of the week when you're paying, like $4,000 a month in rent to live in a cardboard box. You could, for a much smaller price, just live somewhere nice, go visit for that weekend, and then come back home. So.
That's right. Yeah, that's why a lot of people move to Scranton, I think, and like all over Pennsylvania and shit. Eggy, last question before I can go fucking fall asleep. Ad Reed wants to know, what are your lifts now, Eggy? You still lifting?
I am still getting to the gym. That's true. But even
that's all you get to know, motherfucker. It's none of your goddamn business.
Well, it's essentially that is correct. But it's just because I pretty much just go. I still haven't really. I don't start off just. Who's that guy who I can't remember now? But there's a guy who's on YouTube who's like a big bodybuilder, and he always starts off lifting. Oh,
Big Lenny.
No, not that. There's somebody who's got like 4 million subscribers or whatever, and he still always starts with just the bar.
Vegan Gains.
That might be. But I still, basically, I just go and I start with the bar, and I do like, 5 reps of each weight until I, basically tap out at, whatever. And that's what I prefer to do. I feel like I get more out of my exercise that way. I feel well-rounded. I'm still not very healthy, but that's other problems outside of exercising that I need to work on. So I don't have a concrete number, even though that I've been told numerous times by many people who were following my fitness progress that I should be calculating and notating everything, and I just don't do that, to be honest. So
people have been hoping you'd do more gym videos. I had a lot of fun that one time when we snuck in and did things illegally. When's the next gym video really going to hit the LSMS Fitness YouTube? It's only been a year and a half.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's probably true.
Maybe one day.
Well, yeah.
You're going to have to change the name of the channel, I think.
Well, I thought about it, but see, the reason why I didn't change the name of the channel is because I'm also advocating for logging off more with less screens and more streaming. So I feel like I'm really still advocating the mental fitness component by not streaming as much as I used to. And I'm not logged on as much as I used to be.
That's fair.
So,
and you're probably doing fitness while you're not streaming too. They just don't get to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was going to essentially be the natural conclusion of that ideology that eventually it would just be logged off a lot more. So it's not great content, but I hope for anybody out there that's
it's philosophically accurate.
Yeah, that they kind of see where I'm coming from by doing what I do. So
well, before we say goodbye, I'm gonna grab the kitten one last time so they can say hello. What's up, little boy?
These these bright colors have been making me look extra fat, but I promise, just because I'm sitting down and that I'm only normally fat, normal size, American size when I'm standing up.
Oh, this is Mr. Shoji, named after Shoji Tabuchi. Look, he's gonna do a little tap dance for you. Hey, Shoji. There you go. Well, Eggy, you have anything else you want to plug other than the Fediverse?
Nope. That'll be my number one right now, because I'm also gonna wear my Fediverse t-shirt when we do the cooking.
All right. Well, I've got, I guess, some sheep heart to eat and goat cubes to devour. And a cat to crawl around me, crazy. For the Treehouse, I've been Tree.
And I've been Mr. House without the lupus. Thank you.